4 years ago, I did a walk from Hilsea to Portsmouth Harbour that took me past old forts to the north of Portsea Island and all the way around the coast. I thought I'd come back to give a bit of a deeper explore into the city of Portsmouth today and also use the two other stations on the island, Fratton and Portsmouth and Southsea. I was going to start the walk here, but it's very much in the suburbs and it would have been a bit of a boring walk along the road, so I've really just jumped out here to tick off the station and I'm going to jump on the next train. A quick look at Fratton station first though, as for a period of time it was known as Fratton and Southsea to promote a branch line to Southsea itself that closed in 1914, the platform of which would have been over there where there's now a train care facility. So the Southsea name was reused as this station was renamed in 1925 in preparation of Portsmouth becoming a city, as it was previously known as Portsmouth Town. I knew that select trains did terminate here, but I didn't realise that the platforms were separate. I just knew about this one, which has its original Network South East coloured roof from the 1980s, which I feel like it's a little bit outdated now. It's got a nice station building on the outside. Reminds me of something, but I don't know which one. So I start my walk today right in the heart of Portsmouth by its Guildhall building. Prior to Portsmouth becoming a city in 1926, this was known as the Town Hall. There's a lot of nice old buildings here in Portsmouth to start off with. You've got a pub and a theatre. There will be some attractions I'll pass on today's walk, such as the Portsmouth Museum and Art Gallery here. When visiting a city, I don't really tend to come to places like this. I prefer to just wander around and see what I discover along the way. The beautiful buildings continue with this Gothic clock tower here. This is the fanciest hairdressers I've ever seen. It was a very trendy street to walk down Castle Road, but I've just noticed that the street sign up there suggests that it won a first prize for the best dressed street. I'm heading across Southsea Common now. This land was owned by the War Department up until 1922, as it provided a great lookout spot towards incoming enemies from the sea. It's a long but pleasant walk across Southsea Common, but I've made it up to the last part of it now, as once over this garden, the sea awaits. So I'm not going to focus on the beach to start off with, as I'm going to head out onto South Parade Pier first. I've come right down to the very end of South Parade Pier, where I have to say it is quite unnerving walking on this with the sea right beneath you. So when I walked around the coast to Portsmouth before from Hilsea, I did come onto the pier and there's a bunch of fairground rides at the end of it, but it was completely empty, it was dead. I guess maybe just post-COVID no one was really around. It's very different today, despite the fact that it is windy. A lot of people have come out to the sea. Before I focus on the beach, there's one more thing I want to have a quick look at, and that is a park across the road. But by getting there, I've come across a memorial to D-Day, as Portsmouth was the main departure point for a lot of troops. The ocean at the end of the lane. That's one of the greatest road names I've seen. So this is the park I wanted to come and have a look at here in Southsea. So I'll take a walk around the lake and then I'll head back to the coast. And a walk through the rose garden here will bring me back to the beach. Coming out of the garden, and well, that wasn't too hard to find. It's a pretty straightforward walk from here though, as I'm going to be heading all the way along the beach back towards Portsmouth, under the pier alongside Southsea Common again. I stood on top of this pier and now I'm heading underneath it back the way I came. It's not as straightforward as it seems though, as I've made a little diversion off of the beach to come and have a look at a rock garden here. Come back down near to the beach where if you walk along a coastline long enough you will come across some sort of defence structure. This is Southsea Castle, constructed by King Henry VIII in 1544. It's kind of pertinent to come across something he constructed, considering we came across Reading Abbey on my last walk, which he destroyed. Brilliantly, it is free to go into the castle and have a look around. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, crossing over the moat here. I don't think the castle was open last time I came, so I thought I'd take the opportunity this time, especially as it's free. It's pretty cool getting to walk around the defence walls up high. So it seems like there is currently a lot of flood defence work taking place along the promenade here, so I may have to divert around via Southsea Common. I actually remember having to come away from the beach a couple of times during my walk 4 years ago as well, so this is an ongoing construction project. So I am forced back beside Southsea Common, but that's okay because it's very nice to walk across and it allows me to have a look at something which I did spot initially when walking on the other side of the common, and that is a beautiful naval memorial here. Since launching in 1965, Hover Travel is the world's oldest hovercraft service operating between Southsea and Ryde on the Isle of Wight. It is actually the world's only all-year-round hover travel service. It's a shame I've actually come when they're doing a lot of construction work alongside the coastline here, because it'd be pretty cool to stand on the beach and watch it depart out into the water. I have been to the Isle of Wight before back in 2018. I will go again one day, but I'll probably just stick to the regular ferry service that you get from the harbour, as it's much closer to the station, it's cheaper, you get a through train ticket that allows you on it. I have noticed though, I'm on Clarence Pier where there's a viewpoint that will allow me to see the hovercraft pull up, so I'm going to wait for it. Had to pull around one of the regular ferry services. White Link got in the way. Not only do you have a lot of coastal defence structures around here, but just defence structures in general, especially considering Portsmouth has such a significant harbour. We saw the castle earlier on, now got this moat. You've also got the old town walls. I'm saying town walls because I'm sure this predates it becoming a city, that you can walk right along here too. Okay, this is very cool because as you walk along the old town walls, you do just come in to an old fort. Wow. It's great that you get to just walk through here. Usually you'd have to pay to come and visit places like this. So I've made it on up towards Portsmouth Harbour, which is incredibly busy this evening. Loads of people enjoying the pubs in the sun. There's a ferry over there. But this is also where you get the view of what's probably become the most infamous building in Portsmouth, the Spinnaker Tower. Spinnaker Tower, I'm not actually sure you pronounce it. That opened in 2005 but was originally planned to be constructed and opened by the year 2000, so it could be called the Millennium Tower. I like that you can see some old rails which remain here, which obviously would have had trains servicing the harbour. Of course, as I usually try to do when doing a walk in a city, is I come up to have a look at its cathedral. Of course, that is if the city has a cathedral to begin with. This one's very different from others I've seen, quite unique. I really like it. I've walked all the way around to be closer to the Spinnaker Tower, making sure to avoid the ferry terminal. Just realised there's not a whole lot to that building. It's just the viewpoint at the top, like the Brighton i360 Tower, I guess. It's as close as Portsmouth gets to that building. It is the centrepiece of the redeveloped harbour, just like Gunwharf Quay's shopping centre, which gives a clue to the area's history. There's a lot of people over there at the restaurants, and I'm going to have to walk straight through. Walking through Gunwharf Quays brings you out to Portsmouth Harbour station, where I've previously ended my coastal walk, and I'm sure I'll come back another time to catch the ferry once again over to the Isle of Wight. Not today though, my ticket isn't for this station, it's for Southsea, so I've got to walk back to the penultimate stop. I just noticed, by the way, that some lampposts represent the Spinnaker Tower. That's clever, that's a nice touch. Passing by Portsmouth's historic dockyard on my way to the station. Won't be heading in there today, just like how I've not gone up the Spinnaker Tower, so there's your view of it instead. To get to Southsea Station, I'm going to walk over Victoria Park past another cathedral. Portsmouth has two cathedrals, except can't quite find a way to cross this road. That's a bit annoying, there's just a barrier all the way along. Well, I've made it back to Portsmouth and Southsea Station. I think it's rather fitting. I came across a piece of railway heritage right there at the end. An old level crossing which would have belonged to a railway line that would have served the nearby naval base. I really enjoyed my explore today of the harbourside city of Portsmouth. It's been really nice. So I guess all that remains is to go and do the one that's nearby in these parts at some point, Southampton. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you then. Whilst the hovercraft